welcome to episode 51 of the MMG podcast. I am Chris, and I'm joined once again by my good friend, Go Cubs 711.
The Cleveland Indians blew a 3-1 lead in the 2016 World Series.
Wait, why are you so far away from your mic, first of all?
Because I thought it would add to the effect.
Oh, okay. Also, so the mic thing was the one that was bothering the most. Why? What is happening? Why was this brought up? I mean, I guess because Go Cubs. I mean,
yeah, I just wanted to remind everyone that the city of Cleveland is a miserable place.
Wasn't it that they it was that year they blew the 3-1 lead, and then they overcame a 3-1 deficit in the NBA championship?
The Cavaliers did that earlier in the year.
Oh, so Cleveland went first, and then
Cleveland got it first, and then it happened to them.
And then it happened to the I see, because Cleveland can't have anything good for too long.
No,
I see.
I mean, Chicago's the same way. We're not allowed to have more than one sports team that's good at a time. So the Cubs are gonna suck this year.
That's true. You've already finished your quota with the Bears, so it is now with the Bulls and Blackhawks kind of teetering on absolute, well, at least the Bulls in absolute disarray.
God, like if you just want like more organizational incompetency than the Browns, look at the Chicago Bulls right now.
Oh man. the franchise of MJ. Yep. Where those days have been. Anyways, welcome everyone to football. More football. Yeah.
Football.
But it's only 3 more games of football, of course.
Yeah.
As we're
Four.
Let's not count the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
That is a glorified scrimmage. I mean, we if we want to, we could count 6 if we count the scouting all-star games for college players this weekend and next weekend. So you got 6 all year. So plenty of football left. No, I mean, but the 2 most important games as in our right in front of us are the NFC and AFC championship game. Yes, we are here. We have reached the Final Four. And I think, slight to my disappointment in some ways, but at the same time, like, I'm happy for at least some of the teams that are here.
I'm happy for 3 of the teams that are there.
Yeah, we all kind of expected this to be the Final Four. We saw it coming around middle of the season. 2 of the best games of the season were between the teams that are playing each other on Sunday. I mean, you could, the Chiefs and Rams matchup, you can even throw in there as well. So it's very interesting. It's gonna be a very fun Sunday. I think hopefully will make up for what has been overall a kind of mediocre playoff run. Many people were excited about this playoffs, including myself. We thought there was gonna be a lot of good games. We've only really had 1 or 2. So I'm hoping that this Sunday makes up for it with 2 solid games, or at least 1 really good game and the other one where the Patriots go away. So anyways, we do go backwards because we want to go into the divisional round, deep dive into it a little bit. And we're going to start, go, would you like to start on a game, or would you want me to start with a game and then you go? Up to you.
You go first.
Okay. So we'll go back and forth. So the first game we will discuss is the Colts going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, it was assumed going into the game that this was going to be a battle between 2 even teams, 2 teams that would be would basically play to the last tick of the clock, and it was going to be just an absolute fun time. And that, for anyone who was just rooting for a good game, it was a major disappointment. But it was from the very beginning, it was the Chiefs all the way, and it was such a amazing performance in a lot of the ways. Partially because of the defense for the Chiefs, that Chris Jones, D4, Justin Houston, like all these guys up on the line were absolutely dominating what has been a really good offensive line throughout the whole season. And the Colts they lost it in this game.
They couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and I mean they also left D Ford unblocked at times, which was kind of weird. But so that you could say like, oh well, they just game planned bad, but it felt like what we thought was going to be two equal teams, and the Colts were a very good team, and the Chiefs were a very good team. The Chiefs, we could easily say now, are the much better team, but maybe it's just that the Chiefs dominated a very, very good team on Saturday. And that's what's insane to me. Like, I did not expect that kind of performance out of the Kansas City. I mean, I get that they're playing at home, but it was surprising. What did you think about the game?
Yeah, it was like just the biggest takeaway was that Kansas City has a defense.
Yeah, at least up front.
At least up front, and they did that without Eric Berry. Eric Berry's probably going to play this week.
Yes,
I think he has to play this week.
He's going to be playing this week.
Yeah, which like him being the team's best defensive player is going to add to the front what the front did.
Right.
And the fact that that Kansas City did a great job running the ball.
Yeah, Damian Williams has come up
from Mahomes, Hill, and Damian Williams, who has done a great job at running back this year.
He's done excellent. They did it without Spencer Ware, who had a little impact here and there, but I think Damian Williams has been the better player for them, and the fact that they'll be able to at least get two guys back there is going to be pretty solid. I think that they're keeping their offense going, and Patrick Mahomes, to be fair, he didn't really have to do much on Saturday either. Like, he wasn't like a huge part of the team. It was a lot of Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce got involved here and there, but it was not a ton of Patrick Mahomes in this game, and I think that's okay, because I think you're gonna need to use him for all you can this Sunday. And they just took care of business. It was a great win for them. And with that, we move forward, and the Colts, Colts, I think that they have a really good shot at competing for the AFC South next year. I think they're a good enough team to compete for a bye next year. I'm not down on this team. It was just a bad game. You have the bad games sometimes.
Yeah. And it was a bad start to the season too for them.
Right. I think that all of that to me they'll get things fixed. They'll have add a few weapons, but they've really built a great foundation around Luck, and I think they're gonna keep on moving forward with that. They'll be good next year. What about Cowboys Rams? Hit me with it, Gookubs.
Cowboys Rams. So this, the boys, they came to town and then they left. The Rams basically, they reestablished a dominant run game after being known as after that, like, just being one of the teams that like signaled the end of defense in football. Right. They just did a good job. They outran Ezekiel Elliott extremely well with both Gurley and Anderson. And CJ Anderson, one of the best signs I think made this season.
Yeah, down the stretch, and you wonder why the Raiders got rid of him. The Panthers, like, why?
Sorry.
What did you say?
Oh, Siri just started going off, and I panicked.
Well, no, like CJ Anderson, like, I feel like I'm wondering why the Panthers and the Raiders and all these teams that he signed with like could not do anything with him. It's weird. It was a very strange season for him, but to come up in the end, it was great.
Yeah. And the Rams they shut down the Cowboys that on both offense and defense. Rams defensive players took the step up that we kind of expected them to be at the start of the season.
Yeah.
And Amari Cooper did not do much.
He did. He had a
He did.
touchdown in this game.
That's right.
He had an impact, but a lot the offensive line I think was what really let the Cowboys down in this game.
Yeah.
Um,
That's true.
I think that Aaron Donald completely destroyed them, but Dinamo Sue, who I think a lot of us forgot about, he's had a sneaky good season, and he had a great impact on this game as well. I think the big takeaway from Saturday as a whole with the Chiefs and Rams was that the two teams, right, like you said, the teams that signaled the end of defense won with defense on Saturday.
Yeah.
Um,
and with rushing.
And with rushing the ball, right? And I feel like Anderson. I did feel like this last week, hence why I picked the Cowboys to win this game. But I kind of acknowledge I think Anderson has signaled a change with this team, with the Rams, and I think it has made them a better team than they were back in December. And I think when they lost Cooper Kupp for the year, I think a lot of people did not think that was going to be a big deal. I think it ended up being so, but with the addition of CJ Anderson, having just another offensive weapon that can play well. I mean, we didn't think he could, but the Rams are using him perfectly. I think that's what has helped them with winning, and I think that's it's gonna play a role obviously in the NFC Championship game, but it certainly played a role here. So thanks for putting me on Rams though too, because I would prefer the Rams be part of this NFC Championship. They were the biggest story of the season, one of the bigger stories of the season, and it's good to see them make it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
As one of my friends would say, McVay is Bay.
He is.
One of my friends is a Rams fan. I'm not rooting for the Rams this week, but shit, spoilers.
It's all right.
But I wish him well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that McVay is gonna have. I mean, and we'll talk about this during the next week when we have our kind of our season wrap up show prior to the Super Bowl show. You know, Sean McVay, I think his impact on the last two seasons has been very evident, and obviously with the coaching hirings, clearly him having a role in that. But I think that he's, and again, I'll talk about it more when we'll get to next week. But I think a lot of the reason why people are going for that because they see him as a great play caller. But I've always liked him as a leader, and I think you kind of see the energy that he has for the game, the knowledge that he's able to bring to the table, even at such a young and at first inexperienced age, and he has just gone all out in turning this organization around, and I think regardless of what happens on Sunday, that they have something to be proud of going forward. And I truly think that he's going to have an impact on the league every single year that he's around. So
yeah, for sure. I'm going to do the next one.
You would like to do Chargers Patriots?
I would like to do Chargers Patriots.
All right, go for it, my friend.
So the Chargers that did such a great job of adapting to a team that they had played recently, and shown that they had an ability to just stop an offense.
Mm-hmm.
Waltzed into Foxborough and forgot how to play football. That the Patriots walked all over the Chargers. Gonna need to buy a new phone charger after that. And Julian Edelman, you let him just walk all over you. Julian Edelman is like a good wide receiver, but he's so middle of the line that he doesn't have huge games, but he never busts either. Like he never plays poorly. He just picked apart the Chargers team.
I would disagree. I think Gettleman's better than what a lot of people think.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying though. I think he completely destroyed that Chargers defense.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Also,
and then the Chargers offense like didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They have a couple like clutch throws to Mike Williams that didn't amount to much. And they signed a fucking guy to handle kickoffs and kick touchbacks, and that didn't even work.
It's their secret weapon.
I don't. I want the Chargers. I want them to do well, but they're starting to have the cursed vibe.
I'm laughing to that cry.
About the game, do I? Patriots win again in Foxborough. They're not going to have that home field advantage next week.
First of all, did you take that segment so you could say the phone charger pun?
No, I just
okay. I'm just kidding.
Very, very poorly.
No, you're good. I was so pissed at myself. You would think I would be more pissed about the Cowboys pick, but I'm not. I'm like, okay, I acknowledge I'm wrong. I stand by my pick, all that. I am pissed off that I picked the Chargers because you know what? In my heart of hearts, I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew it. I was like, I promised the week before that if the Chargers or Ravens would play the Patriots, that I'd pick the Chargers. But the thing is, the Chargers offense has not been good for a few weeks, and it showed on Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm so angry about that. I'm really angry about it. I do think the Chargers will figure out a way to make a stronger run next year. But this was one of those games that, despite him having a relatively good year, I would contemplate what the fuck you want to do with Gus Bradley, because he literally went into this game with with a defense that, like you said, schemed around Lamar Jackson perfectly, but then decided to go with zone defense against the Patriots, which you should never do because they just tear that shit apart. Yeah. And then instead of adjusting within the game, he kept putting out the same defense. He never changed the game plan because, I don't understand why you don't. You have to learn to make these in-game adjustments. That's how you lose games if you don't do that. It was the most absurd coaching job that I've ever seen. I think part of that could be on Anthony Lynn too, but Gus Bradley looked bad in this game. It was a bad performance. For the Chargers,
especially with the fact that the Chargers, they were one of the most well-rounded teams at one point in terms of their offense and their defense.
Yeah,
when they were both playing at their max.
Absolutely.
And then they put up this bullshit performance.
Yeah. I was convincing myself they're the most complete team in football. Everyone and their mother was saying last week.
Yeah.
And no, they weren't. Their offense has sucked, and
they stopped Gronk from really doing much though.
I think Gronk changed roles. So. I feel like Gronk has changed roles in this offense. He's now a blocker. He's not again, I'm gonna have my rant in a second with the Patriots, but I do want to say that they have always, what they've been good at is figuring out ways to make players useful that have not been playing incredibly well. And Gronk hasn't been playing well this season, and I think they're using him more as a blocker, and it's working. Certainly on social media, they're calling him basically the Jesus Christ of blockers now. But he is really it helped in that game, and the Patriots team is now built upon using the running backs to the best of their ability, not just for throw in the passing game, because they've always done that, but they actually have running backs that are running the ball well, and their defensive front got to Phillip Rivers, which part of that's the bad offensive line, and then Stephon Gilmore has had a great year in the secondary. That this team, I think a lot of us have overlooked the Patriots to this point, because we feel like we've been talking about the big three that are also in this championship, and of course.
Well, also, like I think part of the reason is just no one wants to talk about the Patriots.
No, I completely acknowledge that. Yeah,
because they've just been there all the time, and everyone already knows what they do. The Saints have the awesome Drew Brees stuff going on, because
yes.
Drew Brees is great.
Yes.
And the rest of the Saints team has so much steam behind them. And the Rams and Chiefs are both like, they clawed their way out of obscurity and have like a hot young quarterback who was the third QB ever this season to throw 50 touchdowns in one season.
Yeah, that's the Chiefs specifically you're talking about.
Chiefs specifically, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like, the clawing out of obscurity applies to both teams.
Yes.
And like the huge hyper offense ideal that has become this season in the NFL, and I just the Patriots do not. I guess they're the number 4 like offense. But they don't.
Yeah, I think they're number 4. They're not. I don't think they're top 2. I think they're up there. They're a good offense though, but they're up there.
They are. I remember seeing a graphic at the end of divisional weekend last weekend where or at some point where these 4 were the top 4 like just offenses this season.
Yes.
So on that note, well, I'll save this thing for later. But the Patriots are like they are a good offense. They are a good team. They will be until Brady and/or Belichick retires.
Right. Yeah. Like I think a lot of us keep on spewing doom and gloom, and I'm like, it's not going to happen until we get a 3 p.m. press conference announcing the retirement of one of those greatest of all times. Like it's not happening until it actually happens. The Patriots, they move on. Good for them. The Boston fans are starving for a championship. Let's move on to the Eagles at the Saints, and this was the best game of the day. It wasn't as high scoring as I think some of us thought was going to be the case, but their defenses were once again a story here. But it started out really rough for the Saints. They were 14-0 down, 14-0. And then the fake punt that they ran or that the Steelers basically ran against them and failed. Yeah. In a few weeks ago, they ran against the Eagles and easily got through it. And there was some interesting film on it because they knew that on the punt attempt that Fletcher Cox, who in my opinion is still the Eagles' best defensive player, he doesn't try to really get after the punter on those plays
because it's a punt.
Well, right. Well, but you can. And we saw it against the Colts against the Chiefs. The Colts did block a punt. It's possible. If you really want to make the effort, you can do it. But he doesn't really try, and so the Saints knew that he was not going to try, and they just like ran right past him and got the first down. And it's bad luck for Fletcher Cox, but it was the start of the momentum swing. TM. And basically the Saints scored. And
they remembered how to play football.
They scored 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals by Will Lutz, and it was they went for it on 4th down quite a few times. They were really playing like no holds bar, just going all out because it's a fucking playoff game, type of game. Down after being down 14-0, completely turned things around. It was a good game by them. It was not amazing. It was not the high flying offense that we saw from the Saints early in the year. I still think this team was kind of broke by the Cowboys, and they haven't really been the same team since. But they're getting there.
Yeah.
They're getting back.
And look,
They're
the
on
Eagles
track.
are a hard team to face.
Yes, I agree.
And if they hadn't been so injury battered, I don't know if the Saints would have beaten them.
Yeah, I think
Because
that's a
that
fair
was
point.
another thing. That was another part of the game that I just felt was really uh really important in terms of the result of the game, was the
Yeah,
fact that so many players on the Eagles were injured.
yeah. Brandon
Wasn't
Brooks was a
the
key
only
injury.
factor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brandon.
It wasn't the only injury or the only factor, but
Yeah,
definitely a factor.
yeah. Brooks was injured with, and he's gonna take some time to recover. I think he hurt his Achilles. I'm not too sure. Sheldon Rankins of the defense for the Saints went down, and Fletcher Cox came in and out of the game as well for the Eagles due to injury. And there was a lot of car action. Like it was like a tough game to watch early on with the injuries.
Yeah.
And all that, but it turned it around, and obviously well wishes to all those that were injured, but it ended up working things out down the stretch. It was good, and I think the Saints now, they get to host this game at Mercedes-Benz Superdome, the first since '09 when they faced Brett Favre and the Vikings. How's that?
Yep.
That's fun.
That's fun.
Last time they were in it, they won. They won.
Yeah.
Not only the NFC Championship game, but they won the Super Bowl. So you know what? This is something they could repeat history here right now.
Okay.
We'll see how
Quick
that goes.
quick side note: how many stadiums is Mercedes-Benz allowed to put their name on?
I mean, I guess the maximum right now is 2, unless
That's
they want
true.
to break the ceiling again and go for another one.
Go for the rest of the NFC South.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
So this is Mercedes-Benz Superdome. What's the name of the one in Atlanta?
It's just Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Okay, so Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
I say that we don't get. I say we don't even give credit to Mercedes-Benz anymore. We just call it the Dome and the Stadium.
The stadium. Well, I was thinking if they extend to the rest of the NFC South, you get the Mercedes-Benz ship, pirate ship.
I mean, you could, yes, you could argue that.
But then Carolina has like Bank of America Stadium, and they already have a stadium.
Mercedes-Benz Bank.
already has a stadium. Mercedes-Benz Bank of America.
Bank of
Mercedes-Benz presents Bank of America Stadium.
It's multiple
Are they presenting-
sponsors.
Are they presenting Bank of America, or are they presenting Bank of America Stadium? Who knows?
Yeah, bank
It's like-
or what if it's a big hijacking? Bank of America perhaps to present Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah.
It's just like they're
Or
just
it's like when it
so
was
smart.
when the Broncos played at Sports Authority Field at Mile High.
Yeah, right.
That mouthful.
Right, like it's Bank of America at stadium at Mercedes-Benz
At Mercedes-Benz.
car dealership right outside the stadium. Oh my god. The speaking of we'll get to coaching news in a second, but I'm so excited to talk about this that I want to talk about it right now. So I hinted at Go Cubs before that I wanted to deliver some news to him, and again I want to preface that this is something that is not confirmed, but it's strongly hinted at, and it's freaking me out, and it's gonna make me really sad if it does not come to fruition. So let me explain.
What's happening?
On Sunday, this past Sunday, they announced that Maroon 5 was going to be the halftime performer.
Yes.
And it had Big Boy and Travis Scott, and they had the whole lineup, and they talked about it. Now, prior to this, we've known that Maroon 5 has been probably the one performing in the halftime show since like October or whatever.
Right, yeah. That's not surprising to me.
Then there was a time in late November, early December, and it was around the time that when Steven Hillenburg passed away.
Oh my god.
The man that is obviously, if you do not know, is the creator of SpongeBob, one of the most inspirational cartoons of a generation. And so there was a petition to get one of the most iconic scenes in SpongeBob included into the halftime show. It was the Band Geeks episode, and it was the Sweet Victory song.
That might be my favorite episode.
And they had it was this whole petition, but it got a good amount of signatures. But there wasn't really like anything that was gonna come of it, because it was like, oh, it's a meme. We're gonna sign this petition. We're gonna hope it happens, but it probably won't happen, right? Yeah. But then within like a week of that, all of a sudden, I can share this with you, Go-Cubs, because I was actually found the tweet. Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the stadium that we were just talking about, that is hosting the Super Bowl this year, tweeted out a GIF of the episode of Band Geeks of SpongeBob dancing.
That is so.
And so, okay. So wait, hold on. Let me finish it real quick. I was just thinking, like, okay, that they're just kind of going along with it, but I don't really think so that this is gonna actually happen, right? But then I'm gonna get. This is the most excited I'm gonna be for the rest of the podcast. Then Maroon 5, they had the trailer for the halftime performance, right? And then the background music to that was drumline music. So they had shots of them performing on stage and all that. So it's like all this pumping up music. But then, in like the middle of the trailer, there were small clips of SpongeBob sprinkled in the trailer for no reason, no explanation at all. They were just there, and I can send that to you too.
My God.
And I'm like, no, there's no way they're actually gonna do it. And so there is no confirmation, right? We do not know for sure. But my God, are they pointing in this direction? Oh wait, I'm accidentally playing it right now. Whoops.
The thing about the tweet that you just said with the GIF of the Band Geeks episode, like if it was the like performance part of the episode, like that would have been just like, okay, it's a halftime show. They're like advertising a halftime show or whatever, but the fact that it's like from a different part of the episode, I feel like just it makes it. God, dude,
it just you can just watch it for a second. You can watch it on mute.
Yeah,
I'll hopefully remember to include both tweets in the bottom of the video, but. This actually, like, Maroon 5, it was like, alright, whatever, Maroon 5. I mean, they have to go with a band that is seemingly popular.
Yeah.
And, you know, whatever. I liked a lot of Maroon 5's, like, early stuff, like, She Will Be Loved, like, there's a few good songs by them, and then they kind of went trash, but, if they do this and if they pull it off, I don't know if it's gonna even be Maroon 5. It may be the guy who actually originally sung that song.
Yeah.
Sweet Victory. Like, I may cry. I may actually shed tears. It would be the most amazing thing that for a human being that to have influenced, that certainly has an influence on my life and had an influence on a lot of people's lives, just to kind of honor that because of who he was, and because they had one of their best episodes being around the halftime performance. Like, it would be insane. It would be so cool. So I encourage anyone, if I don't remember to include it, to please search it out and just see what I'm talking about. I am hoping
just a random clip of SpongeBob, not even the Band Geeks shit.
That's what I mean. Like, why though? There's no reason.
There's no reason unless they were going to do that. I'm losing my mind.
I'm glad that you did not know. I wanted to be the one to inform you about this.
I knew about the petition.
Yes. But you didn't know that there is so many of the people involved with the Super Bowl all of a sudden catching in on this.
Yeah.
That I will be severely disappointed if they do not pull this off. And they don't do it. They are hinting so much at it.
Well, no matter what happens, it's going to be better than Justin Timberlake singing a song that he wrote for the animated movie Trolls.
Fair enough.
I
Fair
hate that
enough.
song.
You got this feeling. It's on my soul. I'm so
I
sorry.
feel electric, baby. Okay.
Um. So real quick, we'll just touch upon the coaching news, and then we'll go more deep in depth next week. But the rumor is that the Bengals are going to be hiring Zach Taylor, the Rams quarterback coach, as their new head coach, and the Dolphins complete the coaching circus, the head coaching circus at least, hiring the Patriots linebacking coach and defensive play caller Brian Flores.
Who's your favorite hire?
I guess that's tough to say. I
Go.
like Bruce Arians. I really do.
Bruce Arians seems just like the best one.
Yeah.
He at least is the most like he's the least risk.
Right. That's how I see it too. And he's surrounding himself with a lot of the Cardinals coaching staff, and that made that team so great.
Yeah.
Back then. So yeah, I just think that's where I'm at the moment.
I don't want Jameis Winston to have success, but
yeah, if they realize that early that maybe that he won't work out, then maybe they'll be able to develop a young quarterback. That would be nice. We'll see how that goes.
We want Bortles. I'm kidding.
Oh my God, just make him go to all the Florida teams at one point or another.
If Blake Bortles goes to the Buccaneers and has a career season, can you imagine how wild that would be?
I feel like we're gonna end up with at least one more Bortles career season. And those who do not want Bortles to be successful, or at least have not refused to see him as successful, will be losing their hair probably for a few weeks. Meanwhile, another thing I want to touch on, the head coaches that have been fired, where they are at as of now. Dirk Cutter will be the Falcons' offensive coordinator. Yes. Todd Bowles will be the Buccaneers' defensive coordinator. Vance Joseph will be the Cardinals' defensive coordinator. Steve Wilkes will be the Browns' defensive coordinator. And, of course, we know that Adam Gase is the Jets' head coach. Marvin Lewis and Hugh Jackson, the two guys that were on the Bengals staff when things came to an end, both of them are still out of a job.
Yes, Mike McCarthy.
Yes. Yes, and Mike McCarthy. The thing is, I did write next to him that he already declared that he is sitting out 2019 just to spend more time with the family, and will return for whatever 2020 cycle comes through. And a few other notable names that I feel like it's worth mentioning, fired head coaches in the last few years, or even retired head coaches. Gary Kubiak is now going to be the Vikings' assistant head coach, heading over there from the Broncos. Of course, led the Broncos to a Super Bowl back in 2015. Yep. Mike Mularkey's back. He's going to be the Falcons' tight ends coach. Chuck Pagano will be the Bears' defensive coordinator. Of course,
I like the hire.
Yeah, I do too. Replacing Vic Fangio, and Jim Caldwell at this point has an undisclosed coaching role with the Dolphins, with Brian Flores. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say he will be like an assistant head coach. I don't think he will be an offensive coordinator. Assistant head coach, most likely advisor, however you want to call it. And that's basically covers all the ground on that front. So we move forward into our championship predictions, and I want to plots. I'm so worried about this weekend. I'm ready for reasons.
Chris.
Yes.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Chill the fuck out. I'm kidding.
We'll start with the one that doesn't make me as nervous, and I'm actually pretty excited for, is the Rams at Saints. A battle between two teams that played each other in this very setting in November, and it was a shootout. But the Saints ended up coming back. I believe the Saints came back from like a 10-point deficit to win. So one of these teams had a 10-point deficit at one point and then came back to win. Or maybe they ended up, I don't know, fuck it, whatever. They had a good game. And it's gonna be exciting to see Sean McVay and go against the guy that has also been seen as an offensive innovator, and Sean Payton. Um, and it's gonna be fun to see Brandon Cooks play a little revenge game again with this team. We'll see if the defenses. I think the defenses will play much more of a role in this game than last time. What is like a thing that you think? What's the keys to victory for either of these teams? Go Cubs.
The rush.
The rush.
Because both teams have two really good running backs that they can use in different ways. With the Saints having Kamara and Ingram, and the Rams having Anderson and Gurley.
Yeah,
I think Gurley is the best of the four. Kamara and Ingram make the better duo.
I would say that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So both sides are gonna be rushing. It's gonna be who rushes the ball better. And the another big thing is just the fact that Drew Brees is so much more experienced than Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is going to be a huge deal for this game.
Yeah, I think if Jared Goff, and I think that he had such a great start to the year, but the rest of his season has kind of landed with a thud, and he hasn't really been the same quarterback that he was earlier. I don't know. He before, like, I'm talking like as of after the Rams Chiefs game, like when the Rams started getting like on my radar, a little worried about them. That it was after the Rams Chiefs game, and Jared Goff hasn't been the same player, and so I'm a bit worried on that front about him. But on the other side, and Drew Brees, I still think he's a great quarterback, and I still think he's been doing a fine job. But this past month and a half or so hasn't also really served him well either. And I think maybe the experience is probably going to play more of a factor in this case. But I'm a little worried about the offenses, even with the offensive masterminds leading them. Can either of them reach the level that they were at, back in November, back when they were at their peak? That's why I'm mostly curious about at this point. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Last week they both played great defenses, and they both found ways to win.
Mm-hmm.
This week they're playing each other,
mm-hmm.
and I personally I'm fine with whoever wins this game, but I have to give it to the home team and give it to the team with more experience this year. So I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Yeah, I think I would love to see the Rams and Sean McVay make a Super Bowl. I still think they need to get over a hump here, and it's happened a few seasons before where they're on such a strong hot streak to start out the season, and for a lot of the season they're kicking ass, and then it kind of fades a little bit. They took care of business. They had a great game against the Cowboys, and I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm a little worried with how the Saints, and not to discredit the Eagles, but I am a little worried with how the Saints started out that game, how much of a deficit they had.
If they keep the momentum from the end of the game, they're going to be
right. Yeah, I'm gonna ride the Saints in this one as well. I just
when the Saints come marching in. When the Saints come.
I think the Saints overall are I think are going to be a better team. They have more talent right now. Up and down. I do think Aaron Donald's the best defensive lineman in this game. I think Todd Gurley is the best running back in this game. Yes. I think you can make the argument that there's more experienced corners on the Rams. Drew
Brees and Michael Thomas are the best.
Right.
The best in their positions, though.
The rest of their positions, you have Alvin Kamara playing well. I mean, I think the Rams' offensive line there's an argument there that they're the better ones going into this game, considering how injured the Saints' offensive line was. It is a very even game, but I think it goes back to the quarterbacks, and the one I trust the most right now is Drew Brees. So I'm going with the Saints as well in this one. So that's your NFC Championship. That is the nice, the nice dessert.
The happy path. Oh, and I do want to mention
yes
that I forgot before the playoffs started. I made a statement.
Yes.
That this was either going to be an offensive route to the Super Bowl or a defensive route to the Super Bowl. It was an offensive.
Though to be fair, the teams that are offensive have been winning defensively.
That's true, but it was the offensive teams that I mentioned.
Yes, no, I'm giving you credit. I'm saying that they haven't been winning.
Their defense has started to play well.
Yes, exactly.
Which is important because the defense is going to win the championship.
There you go.
Yeah, but the offensive teams have made it the top 4 scoring teams.
Yeah, which is I think it's the first time ever.
Maybe.
I think.
It also is.
There was some sort of stat out there like that.
It is the first time also since 2015 that both of the top 2 seeds on both sides of the bracket have made.
There you go.
Made the championship.
And it made the wild card absolutely irrelevant.
Absolutely. Yep.
And with that, we go to the AFC Championship game, and I think the one that everyone is really looking at right now. Patrick Mahomes, the guy, the myth, the legend, the guy that we have been talking about this entire season, the one that is going to take over, or even has already taken over the NFL in many ways. And Andy Reid, a guy who has just been waiting his entire life to get to the Super Bowl as a head coach and win it. He has been waiting since when he was wearing that Rams uniform when he was 12 years old within the line of kids wanting to chuck a football in Los Angeles Coliseum. He's been waiting for this moment to be on the stage yet again for the second time in his career to make it to Super Bowl, but this time win it. The Chiefs are the team, the hopefuls, the ones that could do it, and they could do it in their home stadium. But of course, what's in the AFC Championship without Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, Julian Edelman, Rob Gronkowski, the usual cast? The heels of the NFL are back, and they're ready to just tear ass. They had a great weekend, and now they're claiming that they are the ultimate underdogs. Bet against us, they say. They are going to be the ones wearing the dog mask this week. And yes, they are 3-point underdogs, but to think that anyone is doubting this Patriots team is a
joke.
Is quite the haha, quite the funny.
And
but
look. Yeah, look, they're correct in the sense that people doubted the Patriots in the playoffs this year. But they're still the Patriots, and they still have like all the same people. So they're still obviously going to do well. So
yes.
Fuck off with that bullshit.
I think this is going to be the most exciting game of the year prior to the Super Bowl. It's going to be this is like the stage is set. This is where the AFC needs to be taken back. The Broncos tried. They came in for 2 years, and you had the mixture of the Ravens, the Colts, the Steelers over the years, but the Patriots have really been the ones in the mix almost all the time, always in there. This could be the change, the passing of the torch, the Chiefs taking it away, and the Patriots, will, if they lose, will they be able to make it back here if, let's say, this is Belichick's last year? Because we don't know. We don't even know yet if Belichick is coaching next year. Like, there is some questions
about... He's going to coach next year, Chris.
Say again?
He's going to coach next year.
Well, no,
because we don't... They do this every year.
Well, no. I think he will, but there has been reports out there that Belichick, the whole reason why Josh McDaniels did not take a head coaching job, because he thinks that the head coaching job is about to be given to him right now with the Patriots. I don't think that the reports out there of Belichick potentially retiring this season are not valid. I want to give I always believe the worst with the Patriots, trust me. But there's a chance this is Belichick's last go of it.
It's true.
We do not know for sure what's gonna happen. So it's a big ass game, and it's gonna be the one that will decide whether the AFC is actually valid for once.
Yep.
So,
I still want to bring up the fact that since I forget what year exactly it is, but for a longer like duration than it should be, the AFC has had 4 quarterbacks represent them in the Super Bowl.
mm-hmm.
Brady, Roethlisberger, Manning, and only 1 year of Joe Flacco.
Yes.
It's
been since 2001.
Since 2000, I think that's 2004.
2003. 2002 was, I think, was like Jake Plummer or something. That's actually that's like a 60s quarterback. Ignore me.
The Raiders were there at some point.
Yeah, it was the Raiders. I think it was Rich Gannon.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Get someone else in there. Prove that the AFC as a conference isn't a total failure. To compare this to other sports, the NFC is like Major League Baseball, where new faces pop up. Like you have a couple like powerhouses, but new faces pop up often in terms of who like makes it to the championship, right?
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's rarely the same teams.
It's
in a row.
I would say it's one of the most. I'm gonna forget the word for it. Most parity-filled league right now in sports. Is
like the Dodgers making 2 back-to-back World Series.
An anomaly,
and losing both. That's just funny to me. But that's an anomaly.
Right.
The AFC is like the NBA, where the Golden State Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers have been the championship for the past like 5 years. That's not going to be the case this year, obviously, but still.
It's definitely it has had the feel of just one dominant team being always there all the fucking time and never
always there
away.
all the fucking time. Maybe you get one. You have like 1 or 2, but usually just 1.
Well, before we get to the pick, because I unless you want to finish your statement first.
No, that's pretty much it. The NFC is just like so much more interesting, and I wish the AFC did the same because there's some fun teams in there that can't do anything because the Patriots exist.
This has I felt like the AFC was the better conference this year, and it would really put a damper on that if the Patriots were to win it again, because it was like, well, okay, so then what was all that for? But what I wanted to ask you first was, what are the keys to a Chiefs victory? And I'll do Patriots after that. Go ahead.
Out passing the Pats, but I think just the offense being as dominant as they have been all season against the Patriots is going to be really important. Do you remember what the final score was of the Chiefs-Patriots game earlier this season?
I want to say 51-45. I could be wrong about that.
Okay, and that was in Foxborough.
Yes.
I think that score is going to be similar, just in terms of how good and effective both offenses are. But the Chiefs just need to be as dominant as they can be on that offensive side of the ball.
Correction, 43-40. I don't know where 40. I got 51-45. I think that might have been
43-40 makes more sense.
Another offensive filled game. I think for the Patriots, it's containing Patrick Mahomes. Their defensive front did a good job last week against the Chargers, but this is a tougher offensive line to go against. I think Stephon Gilmore could take care of one guy, maybe Tyreek Hill, but the Patriots have not been good at containing Tyreek Hill, so they need to contain him. They need to contain Patrick Mahomes, and then they still have to be worried about Travis Kelce. You have to worry about Sammy Watkins. You got like a few other players in there that the Patrick Mahomes will just be able to use. Damon Williams. Like, you still have to worry about the run game being solid. So the defense, which has been good down the stretch for the Patriots. It needs to come up with a big old game plan and big game and adjust against Patrick Mahomes in this offense. And obviously Tom Brady needs to get the ball out fast, which he's always good at, and take advantage of a secondary that has Eric Berry and then everyone else. So that's the keys for a Patriots victory. But go Cubs. What do you see?
Look, I would be remiss if I didn't choose the Chiefs here. It seems like you're going with what everyone's been talking about this season. One, I say that one, do you really want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl again? You really want to see that again? Two, the offense by the Chiefs and what Andy Reid has been able to do, and Andy Reid was able to win a postseason game in Arrowhead, so we can put that shit to bed.
Right, exactly.
The home field advantage is going to be huge for the Chiefs. The Patriots have not played as well away this year, which is true for most teams, but especially true for the Patriots because they lost 2 games in a row at one point.
Yes,
which is also kind of an anomaly, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs take it. Tom Brady Bunch. Don't matter.
They don't matter.
Chiefs by 30.
I have been watching football since 2013. The one constant in my life has been the Patriots being in this weekend. Luckily, there have been a few seasons where that they did not make the Super Bowl. That was the Broncos. That was the Peyton Manning. And fine, I wasn't not really a big Broncos fan, but it was better than seeing the Patriots still there. And I want to get to know an AFC team. I do. I have not gone to get to know them. I never have been able to have a sit down candlelit dinner with an AFC team other than the Patriots, who comes in every date that we have just all in my face and overly dominant, and I'm like, no, this is you're not my type. I'm sorry. And you are nailing on the head with the Patriots this season, that they are a much different team when they're playing at home than on the road. And it's not even like, well, you could say that about every team, but it's a special circumstance with this Patriots team, because I'm going to take you to the flashback machine for a second. One of their wins, they've had 3 road wins. They were 3-5 on the road. It was a bad season on the road. One of their victories was against the Chicago Bears. That was lost by a touchdown, by like a missed touchdown at the very end. Kevin White could have scored it, and he didn't. It was just there. They could have gotten it, and then the Patriots would have been 2-6. And then the other 2 victories were the Bills with Derek Anderson starting, and the Jets were the other win, but they were both 1-score games going into the 4th quarter. I think the Patriots have been a different team in the last 3 weeks. They've realized an identity, knowing that they don't have Josh Gordon to use, and they don't have Rob Gronkowski of old, that they've established the run, and they're building a defense. But the fact of the matter is, in this Arrowhead Stadium, in this glory of a stadium that I absolutely adore watching games in, the pure idea that the Patriots would go in there and beat the Chiefs after the last time they were there in 2014 and got their ass kicked by Kansas City, and that was we are on to Cincinnati game that spurred a Super Bowl run, of course, but still, the New England Patriots are going down on Sunday. And I have more confidence in this than obviously last week's pick. I know the Chiefs can win this game. I think they will. I'm going with the Chiefs. I'm so goddamn confident about this. I've never been this confident about a Patriots loss. And I just want it to happen because it's going to be good for football. For once, we'd have something other than the Patriots to talk about for 2 weeks. Please. Please.
Chris.
Yes.
I've never been more proud of you than this moment.
But it's like I get what people are saying. I get that we never doubt the Patriots, and I don't doubt the Patriots. I'm so scared about this game, but the Chiefs have been so good at home. They've lost one game, and it was against the Chargers in the last second failed covered 2-point conversion. They're so good at home. And I get the postseason curse, but that was erased last week. They took care of business. They got it done, and they beat.
It doesn't exist anymore.
They beat one of the best, most complete teams in the NFL. Yes, I put the Colts there because I do think down the stretch they have been that team.
I agree.
So why not the Chiefs? Why not the why not the Chiefs? Come on, for once. Anyone but the Patriots for once. I'm sorry, but this
another thing the Chiefs have going for them is they have one of the goofiest mascots in the NFL.
I do. I on Sunday I plan on wearing my my M&M. I have M&M printed pants that look very similarly to the Kansas City print pants that mascot wears. So I'm nice. that is my
mascot is named Casey.
Oh, well that would make sense.
Casey, yeah.
That would make sense. But like I just like I feel for Andy Reid the most in this whole thing. I that's why I kept on talking about it. Like I shared an article earlier that talked about that he kind of was like he was this big kid when he was like at a very young age, and he was like he was so into sports, and like despite the name calling and shit, he kind of overcame all that, and he embraced it in a lot of ways, and he just was he always had sports in his life, and he has had this mark behind him of being a guy that chokes in the playoffs on a constant basis. And good coaches like Andy Reid, who has one of the best coaching trees in the NFL, or the best for that matter. I just want to see him get the trophy for once. Just I mean, get him to the Super Bowl at least, please. I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't want to throw too much out there. I want them to at least make a Super Bowl. But if he can win the championship and do it with a quarterback that he always dreamed to have in Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes in his first year as the Kansas City starter to have this miraculous of a season, to have 50 fucking touchdowns in his first, it's just this. It would be the saddest thing if this storyline ended on Sunday. It can't end. So, there's my soliloquy for you. For the Kansas City fans.
Soliloquy or a monologue?
It's a good question. What is a soliloquy? I use that word as just a fancy word, but
a soliloquy is the act of speaking one's thoughts aloud when by oneself or regardless of any hearers, especially by a character in a play.
That was kind of. I mean,
but
you contributed, though.
But I'm here.
Yes. So it would be more like a monologue.
Monologue would just be a long speech by one actor in a play or a movie.
I think that's...
So monologue is in the place of other people.
Yes.
Soliloquy is just like you are talking by yourself.
Okay. Fair enough.
So,
my theater...
Great monologue.
my theater logo has to be improved a little bit. It's been a while. Did I say logo? I meant lingo.
Close. Your lingo has to be improved too.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, gonna run through. I want to run through just one thing real fast, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, totally fine.
We both have Saints Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I'm gonna go through the 4 possible Super Bowl matchups, and I want you to tell me who you would root for in each one.
Okay.
Okay. Saints Chiefs.
I gotta go. I would probably root for Chiefs. That's a tough one though. I like the Saints a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Rams Chiefs.
Chiefs. It's hard if the Chiefs are in. It's very hard to pick who's win. But I would, just because of everything I just said, I'd root for the Chiefs.
Okay. And I don't need to ask you the other ones because they're both against the Patriots.
Yeah. No. What about and would I assume correctly that you'd feel the same way if the Patriots were in it, you root for the other team? So what about the other ones, the Chiefs ones?
I'm gonna root for the Saints regardless.
Okay.
If they make it, I would root for the Chiefs over the Rams.
Okay.
And I would, obviously Rams over Patriots.
Yes, and Saints over Patriots.
Saints over Patriots. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. I mean, I'm gonna be bummed as shit if the Patriots win, right? But yeah. I think if we were to be stuck in whatever storylines come out of any of these Super Bowl matchups, I think that we have 4 outstanding Super Bowl matchups, regardless of which one
100%
ends up coming to fruition.
If the Patriots didn't have their just that aura about them, it would be like it would be an exciting Final Four.
Exactly.
I'm stressed out because they exist right now.
Right, exactly. But... Well, welcome to being anti-Patriots. This is how we felt for years.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
But yeah, no, but like it's like a feeling that I'm getting used to, even though I still am stressed out. Like this is around the time that I'm like, okay, I expect to be stressed out this week. This is where I'm at, So if the Patriots win, it is what it is, and we'll just have to go for it. But I do think that you have a great storyline if you have Brady versus Breeze, or if you had McVay versus Belichick. Like there's fun storylines there, and of course I think you have a lot of fun storylines if you have the Chiefs in there instead, and probably more intriguing ones because all the remaining teams have 1 Super Bowl each except for the Patriots.
Yep.
That's where we're at. So everyone's at least trying to get to 2, while the Patriots try to get to 6. It's wonderful. So with that being said, by the way, last week we went you went 4 for 4. I went 3 for 5. Or I'm 4 sorry. For 4. That's the record playoff record to this point. So
I am 4 for 4 currently.
4 for 4. I'm 3 for 5.
Yep.
You went
that sweet Wendy's meal.
You went 3-1 in the playoffs picks this week. I went 2-2. The Cowboys screwed me up.
Illinois representation with 3-1 right there.
There you go. The 2-2. It was I still stand by my Cowboys pick, but god damn, I should have picked the Patriots. But the what right now our records sit at 159, 103, and 158. 104 for 159, 103 for you, and 158, 104 for myself at the moment, and it's gonna remain. That gap will remain going into
the Super Bowl.
Regardless.
The superb owl.
I gotta be honest. I mean, I am of course rooting for a Chiefs Saints game, and now knowing that you're probably gonna be all in on the Saints, and I would like to root for the Chiefs. If we pick those respective teams, it's gonna be a fun fucking Super Bowl.
Hell yeah, dude! Saints Chiefs is all I want right now.
I think the Rams Chiefs would be fun too, but
Rams Chiefs will be fine.
But the Saints Chiefs are at least a new matchup. It's something that we haven't seen yet this year, and it's.
I even think I mentioned like you had the Saints Rams matchup. You had the Rams Chiefs matchup. You need to complete the trifecta.
Yeah. We need to. I feel like that's the perfect side. The home teams have not lost the championship weekend since 2012. Let's keep it going. I usually don't want to root for these kind of things, but let's keep it going for this year at least.
Fuck underdogs.
For just this once. Fuck Team Chaos.
This is once. Fuck Team Chaos. Put Team Chris. I need you to put Team Chaos in a closet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to lock and key, put it away, just be like, shh. It has its
Probably
Patriots garb like almost on. I'm like, no.
Stop.
Oh my god. But you know what? Again, regardless of what happens, it's been an amazing season. And we're gonna next week we're gonna go through all 30 teams that are not participating in the Super Bowl, recap them all.
Talk about how the season went.
Yeah, and we'll talk about
the Raiders one final time this podcast.
Yes, one final time for all these teams. We'll talk about free agents. You know, any major things they're looking forward to next season. You know,
I'll give a quick fantasy preview.
There you go. You get your fantasy aspect back into this. You know.
Yep.
Guy, that works.
By the way, for the NFL playoff challenge that's currently going on, I am only starting Saints and Chiefs, so that's how confident I am.
I want to breathe your confidence in, but I'm at least happy that I have the confidence to pick the Saints and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm honestly like super proud of you.
Not say the dreaded P word anymore. All right. So with all that being said, we look forward to next week, and then of course the week after being the Super Bowl preview, and then the Super Bowl recap to close out the season. I mean, we'll see about off-season podcasts. We'll see. I won't rule it out, but that'll be up to Go Cubs and what we want to do. So let's do it. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all enjoy your Sunday. Be good to one another. Be kind to one another. And yes, I include you, Patriots fans.
Taint once.
Say again?
You didn't even say taint once.
What? Wait, this is out of context for this podcast.
Don't tell them.
All right, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.